Welcome to Ask Your Spirit Guides with Dr. Victoria Shaw, your weekly gateway to divine guidance and soul alignment. Each week, intuitive counselor and spiritual teacher Dr. Victoria Shaw connects with spirit to bring through live channeled messages from your personal guides, offering clarity, healing, and support on your journey. Whether you receive a personal reading or simply tune in, know that every episode delivers a powerful energetic transmission meant just for you. We're live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific on Soul Search TV, streaming online on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our mobile app. Take a deep breath, open your heart, and prepare to receive. This is Ask Your Spirit Guides, and your journey starts now.
Okay. We are live with Dr. Victoria Shaw for week 6, if you can believe it. It's gone so fast and amazingly well. It's been such a dynamic show week after week after week with Ask Your Spirit Guides here on Soul Search TV. And we are absolutely thrilled to be here once again, meeting with Dr. Shaw and getting underway. So everybody knows her already. Classically Princeton trained psychologist and a lifelong intuitive guide. So welcome back, everyone. And I'm happy to turn the mic over to Dr. Shaw, Victoria, for a few words. Here we go.
Yay, thanks. So welcome back, everyone. I can't believe this is already 6 weeks. That's crazy. So I want to start, as I always do, I'm going to just take a few minutes to set the energy and to come into my body and to hold the space for all of you. So I'm going to send the stream of angels to surround myself and all of the beautiful beings in the Zoom room and beyond with your beautiful white light. As I open my heart to divine unconditional love and ask to connect to my highest self, guides and angels, and those of all of you. As to be a clear channel with which to receive and communicate their wisdom. I ask to let go of any expectations I may have towards the outcome of the work that we do together today. And I ask that the outcome of this work serve the highest and greatest good. Amen. All right, we're in it. And today I wanted to share a couple fun facts about your spirit guides in general. And then I'm going to answer the questions of the people that are on the live today. So I was recently traveling. I went to Colorado to see a 3-night run of my favorite band at Red Rocks. And I decided that since I was traveling on my own for the first time, it would be really fun to bring my guides with me or bring a guide with me. And, you know, we all have our guides with us all the time, right? And so it's not like anything unique or special, but sometimes, you know, it's just nice to know intentionally that they're there. So I set a little intention, and along with one of my friends and mentors, a guide stepped forward, a guide that I hadn't, that was around me, but I hadn't been introduced to yet. And we spent the weekend together, and it was really lovely. And you know, there were a few glitches in the trip, and so when I got to those moments, right, where I was a little bit overwhelmed by something or a little bit confused, or I had to make a decision, right, it gave me such comfort to know that this guide and really all of my guides were there. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about today about what you can ask your guides for, what they're here to do for you, and then also the limits of that. And so we can, first of all, we have, and as I've said before, we have an infinite number of guides, or is whatever you need is always available to you. And most of us have more than one guide around us all the time that's just tasked with supporting us, you know, wherever we are in our lives, right? So you can even, you know, task a guide with, hey, come travel with me to Red Rocks. But sometimes we ask our guides to do what is not their job. What is not their job. And we defer our responsibility or our power, at least in our own mind. Your guides, they will not get in the way of your power or your free will, as I'll discuss in a minute. But sometimes we kind of wish that it was so. And we kind of ask our guides to do things for us, you know, that is not their job. Okay. So your guides can help you. Your guides can support you. Your guides can point you in the right direction when you have a question or you have something that you want to accomplish or do. They can sometimes be the voice of wisdom, right? They can remind you of things that you know or guide you towards getting the information you need, right? They're here to support us on that human journey. But there's two things that your guides can never, ever do. But people often ask their guides to do that. The first thing your guides can never do is tell you what you should do. Okay. Your guides, that's out of their pay scale. They can't tell you what you should do. Okay. And there's a couple of reasons for that. And I know some of you are probably going, wait, those are my questions. I want to know what I should do. And she's telling me I can't ask her that and ask the guides that. You can. But it's important to know this distinction, right? Your guides will always, just like your intuition will always tell you what's the next best step or, the next thing you have to know or, give you a little bit of love or guidance, or tell you what is the most true and accurate for you in the now. Okay. And the now is a moving target, right? So the answer that you get now might have already have changed. Okay. But generally, it'll linger for a while. Right. So that's what your intuition can do. That's what your guides can do. Okay. But they can't tell you what you should do. Number one, because your should is kind of a judgment. And there's no judgment on the side where your guides live, right? So they don't have a vested interest in what's right or what's wrong or what's good and what's bad. They're going to take your question and they're going to help you interpret that question. And from that place, they're going to let you know what would be most useful for you to know right now on your path. That's it. That's all they can do. And the other reason why they'll never tell you what you should do is because as the man or woman or human on the ground, or however you identify on the ground as the human on the ground, right? Your preferences really matter. Your perspective really matters, right? And so they're not going to tell you what you should do because they're working with what you're learning, what you're figuring out, what you're wanting to do, what your preferences are. Okay. And your guides are never going to take that away from you because that's what you're here to do. Okay. So they'll always respect your free will. They'll always respect your perspective. And sometimes if your perspective is really like this and expanding it a little bit would help you see better and get to where you want to go, they will certainly nudge you in that direction and provide some relevant information. But they're never going to say, this is the thing that you should do. Okay. And if they give you some guidance and you go like this and la, 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 they're not going to judge you. They're not going to blame you. They're not going to run away. They love the pants off of you no matter what. They're very patient. They'll just wait till you ask again, right? They're always here for you. And then the other thing that your guides can never, ever do, and I find myself asking my guides this all the time, even though I know better, is they can't do it for you. Right? They can get you in a position where you're going to be most able to receive that which you desire. They can also, again, as I said before, point you towards the next best steps. But you are the human being on the ground. You are the one that's doing the work. You are, from a law of attraction standpoint, your own point of attraction, right? So they can help you get in alignment with what you desire, but they cannot do it for you, right? And the guides say, as they're chiming in right now, even when we do, it appears if we're doing it for you. What we're really doing is aligning with the intention that you set and your readiness and willingness to receive. And then we can sometimes work some magic or co-create. Yeah, they like that word. Or co-create some magic from the quote unquote other side to support you in whatever you desire. Okay. But they can't pick you up and carry you where you want to go. Okay. Because you got legs or a wheelchair or maybe wings, but however it is, you are here on earth. So, you are responsible for getting yourself where you want to go. And they are just here to guide you. Okay. So that's all I have for today. I see lots of people have hopped on. My air conditioning did not kick in. So I apologize for that, but I am ready to answer, to tune into the guides for our first guest.
On camera would help. So it is so toasty one, isn't it? We'd like to invite Brandy to come on camera. And get you on microphone.
Okay.
All right.
There we
I
go.
think we've got all the buttons
right.
pushed.
Okay.
All right. Welcome.
All
Well,
right, Brandy, I'm going to tune into your energy for a second, but what would you like guidance on today?
My health. I've been having issues there's some kind of issues going with my health, and I want to know what's going on.
Beautiful. So I'm not a medical intuitive, and although I have the doctor before my name, I'm not a medical doctor. So I just want to clarify those two things. But I will check in with your guides and see if they can offer you some guidance on what's going on. And when I tune into your energy, there's a lot of congestion around your chest. So I don't know if that's part of the issue, but that's what I feel. There's just a lot of just congestion, and it feels kind of hot and dry in there. So I don't know if that's your experience.
What do you mean by hot and dry?
It just feels like just congested and like a little bit uncomfortable to breathe.
Yeah.
Okay. And have you seen a doctor? Are you asking sort of what this is or how to cope with it? Give me a little bit more feedback.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going on. Yeah, I have had an EKG.
So they think it's heart related. It's funny when I tune in, again, not a doctor, not a medical intuitive. I'm just working on that area a little bit. Trying to steady your lungs. It feels to me like congestion, like you can't breathe. It feels more lungs than heart. But again, not a medical doctor, no training in that. So, and when I put my hands there energetically, the area just feels very hot. Okay. It just feels like there's just a lot of energy there. Then they're going to have me move down. And again, I can't offer you a diagnosis, my friends, because that is just not what I do. Even if the guides told me, I probably wouldn't tell you, just because that's out of my purview. But what I am doing right now, we can look at the antecedents of this. We can look at what's the next best step. If you give me something that a doctor's told you, I can point you in the direction there. And right now, I'm just working a little bit on your sacral area and your sacral chakra, because it feels right now like all of the energy is going to your chest, to your heart, to your chest. It's front and back. It's the whole area. And it feels that really from like the waist down, there's nothing there. There's nothing going on. So I'm just trying to take a look at that and see what's up with that. And as I start to spend some time in this area, I do feel your energy kind of coming down a little bit. But again, there's just a lot of pressure here. So whether that's circulation, it feels to me like it may have some viral qualities. I don't know if anyone has told you that. Again, not a doctor, not diagnosing anything. Check with your doctor. But it feels like there may be viral or like some kind of infection. It could be bacterial too, but like that could be the kind of antecedents in there, like what kind of started it. Does that make sense? And then, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, it makes sense.
Yeah. And then there's also just a lot going on with your gut. So if you do kind of natural medicine or those kinds of things, I would definitely go to someone, not necessarily a gastroenterologist, but like a lot of naturopaths and integrative doctors will work a lot on what's happening in the gut, because that can often affect other things. And it feels like whatever's going on here either started in your gut or is related to what's going on in your gut. And then the other place that I really feel a lot of congestion, but again, not a doctor and don't know anatomy super well. But on this side, so this would be my your left side. Yeah, let me just check. Yeah, definitely left. What goes down here on the left side? Does anyone else on here know anatomy? I feel like is the intestines on the other side, right? I'm just gonna pull it down. I'm just gonna
The liver's on the right, I believe. Appendix on the left, or
I think
the
appendix
gallbladder.
is lower. Whatever. This area is so hot, so I'm just spending some time So hot. Okay. And as I touch this area, your energy is going a little bit down into your pelvis. So there's something was a little bit blocked here. I think it's both energetic and physical. Okay. So I'm working obviously energy because you are somewhere else and my hands are touching air right now. But I do think that there may be some physiological correlates to what I'm doing as well. Sometimes it's just energy moving, but in this case, I feel like there may be some organs or tissue involved. But what I'm doing is down that channel, I'm just removing your energy so that removing this a little bit. There's also a hot spot. I don't know if you even feel that in the back along that side. So below the heart, kind of a few inches in from your waist in the back. Do you feel?
A few inches above my waist or below?
Yeah, above your waist.
Above your waist. Yeah, I mean, there is something that I had gotten, like, yeah, a kind of a rash there.
Okay. Yeah, because that area is really gummed up too. Yeah, I can't do too much more with that right now, but let me just see if there's anything else they want me to tell you or want me to do. I'm just trying to work with your energy a little bit. There you go. I want to just hear this from your guides. So things that are cooling will be very, very helpful because a lot of this is heat and inflammation. Again, I feel like there's some kind of infection going on that
Okay.
might be in that area. So you could ask the doctors. I know like strep can get in the heart and the stomach, not making a diagnosis. And I'm not seeing that from your guides. That's just random knowledge that I happen to have, but it could be something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then they're also showing me, I don't know if it's blood work or an IV or something, because they're showing me up one of your arms, the left arm. It feels like some kind of test was done. Is that accurate?
Well, there's been things far as I tried to get blood out and it was really thick. It was very thick and inflamed and it clogged up the IV or kind of thing. And then, yeah, also when they had an IV, it was painful. It was just to drip saline in. It was painful. They had to do it really slow.
Yeah. And they don't have any explanation for why that would be?
Well, we're thinking that might have to do with what the rash that's on the left side, but yeah, not the heart part that's happening.
It's definitely all related. It's definitely all related. It's not a red herring, like one thing or another thing. I mean, this is my read, not a doctor. I know I've said that 20 times, but it's that. And again, I feel heat, I feel inflammation. I feel like anything, if you were working with like a Chinese medicine or something like that, anything that will provide cooling for your body would be very helpful. And emotionally too, it's really like below your waist is not a lot, not energetically, not a lot's happening there. So there's just energetically a lot of pressure in like the middle of your body. Does that make up until about your throat? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so, any kind of practices or meditation, and you didn't have like a spinal tap or something like that at some point.
I had a knee replacement on my left side about 2.5 years ago.
But this didn't start after that, or did it?
I think it has something to do with that. Yes. Like I noticed the thick blood in a live blood test in February this year. And I think, yeah, that's still happening. And I think, that blood thing has created that rash thing that I'm having on the.
Yeah, it feels to me that it's some kind of pathogen. It's some kind of pathogen. Maybe it's something that you got during the surgery that then became systemic.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I feel something like a epidural or like it's something that went into your body that numbed the bottom part of your body, which I don't know if they would do that for knee surgery, but
I think they kind of did to get a numb thing.
Yeah. Because that's where it feels like it went in. So it could be related to that as well. Because it feels to me that the bottom half of your body is just still numb.
Okay.
And that there's just a lot of inflammation and heat. It could have been a reaction to, that as well, that kind of set this off. But what the guides say, because I want to I can't, work on your, I mean, I can work on your energy a little bit, but like not a long time because we have like other people today. But I'm working. See, they're bringing me here too, which makes me think like tonsils. So again, it makes me think of like a pathogen.
Yeah. Or could be thyroid.
No, they had my hands on your
Like
tonsils.
glands. Okay.
Yeah, the gland. Yeah, exactly. The glands right there. Definitely. I mean, I don't know about thyroid, but
Okay.
but I feel that things will be cooling, things will be soothing, and you may want I got like, an infectious disease specialist, somebody who knows about these kinds of things might be the next step. Okay. So I hope that that was helpful. I feel like I kind of tapped into what was there, but maybe didn't
Yeah,
give
you
you more
did.
answers. And I don't, normally I'll get like emotional stuff,
Uh-huh.
but I'm really just getting physical stuff. Like it just feels like something threw your system off. And like kind of once they figure it out and kind of treat it, I think you'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sending you so much love.
Thank you.
And I hope that was helpful.
It was very helpful. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Letting her go.
Thanks,
My-
Brandy. Thanks for coming.
Yes.
And my air condition kicked in, so I won't be going like this. I don't know why it took so long. All right.
All right. So let's bring Amrita
Okay.
on camera and we'll unmute. Get all the buttons pushed. There she
I
is.
think
Hello.
I get
Amriita.
on my. Hi.
All right. I'm going to let Brandy go a little bit more so I can focus all the way on you. And Rita, what would you like guidance on today?
Well, I've been going through a really huge transition, and I've been also going through a lot of waves of challenges coming up on a somewhat regular basis. And it's been a rough road, and it's like every time I come up for air, something else, another wave comes.
Okay.
But I feel like I've just been on this journey of just being challenged to deepen my faith and trust and not go into fear, make new choices in terms of my response to what's happening. And I'm also sensing that this is kind of the end of an old cycle releasing itself from my life. And so I guess what I would like guidance with is, I've been really spending a lot of time aligning with my highest timeline, my dreams that seem outrageous. Maybe if you know me and, how would that happen? How are you going to have the finances to do that? Or, so, my dream is to have my own home and to have my divine partner in my life and our little fur baby family and a certain amount of financial freedom so we can travel and enjoy our lives together. And, I haven't manifested those things quite yet, but it feels like it's time. And I'm just wanting to tune in to see if there's any guidance for me at this stage and any information maybe that might come through to help me focus in on how to get from here to there.
I want to tune back into your energy because you said a lot and I was picking up something right at the beginning. So I want to find it again. When I tune into your energy, I get the image of like a train, almost like a freight train, and it's going so fast. It's going like so fast. And like trains, especially ones that are loaded with stuff, they're really loud when they're barreling over the tracks, because everything's kind of like shaking. The cars are shaking, the stuff is shaking. It's shaking against the track. And it's really, 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 really loud. And it's also the in this image, the way the cars are put together, like stuff is definitely tumbling off. It's not everything, but every once in a while, something gets dislodged and it gets left on the way. And so the train kind of feels right now like it's making a mess. It's making a mess. It just feels to me like it's going faster than it should. It's going faster than it should, given everything that's going on. And I feel like, my friend, and you'll stop me in a minute if this doesn't land, but I feel like sometimes when you are feeling overwhelmed or feeling uncomfortable or wanting things to shift or wanted things to move, your main response is to put your foot on the accelerator and go faster and try to make things go faster. And what your guides are saying is this is probably a time to slow down a little bit, to slow down a little bit because you're just pushing too hard and trying to move too fast. And it makes sense because you may not like where you are. But the downside of that is you're creating a lot of rattling, a lot of shaking, a lot of noise. And, the structure of the train, you know what I mean? It's holding together, but you're always kind of feeling like you're in an earthquake. Does that make sense so far?
Not exactly. I mean, to be honest, I feel like I'm just trying to slow down and get peace on a daily basis, and external circumstances are forcing me. Like I just went through a huge move. I had to move out of my place where I was living, and it's just been one thing after another of responsibilities showing up and things that I need to tend to. But my true desire is to relax. Like I'm so exhausted.
Okay.
Just want some peace. And it's like, then another huge challenge arrives. And I'm like, wow, I just feel like I'm staying afloat. I'm somehow cultivating deeper strength. But I'm getting whacked. And it doesn't feel like I've got my foot on the gas pedal. It feels like I only put it on the gas pedal to rise to whatever occasion is presenting itself that needs to be handled. So I would like to just stop, honestly.
All right.
Well, stop.
Let me see how they can help you with that.
Okay.
They say we're saying the same thing. But I had a feeling you weren't going to like how that one landed.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm pushing forward. The only thing is just sort of searching for clarity in terms of next steps in their right timing. I've had a couple of things fall through in the last couple of days that I was relying upon. And I'm like, okay, I can sense that my guides are shaping things and directing me from behind the scenes, but I have no. I don't know.
So let me stop you, okay? Because I wanna get this from them, okay? Because sometimes our ideas about things make it hard for us to hear what the guides have to say. So I want to be as clear as I can so that their message can land for you, my beautiful friend.
Okay.
So they're giving me the image, right? When you are the car wheels, it's stuck in mud or even just muddy terrain because you're not really stuck, or you're trying to it's like there are times when if you floor it, you get more stuck. Okay. And there are other times when you kind of feather, a little bit, then boom, you go. Okay. And again, they're giving me the impression that you're gripping really. They're not judging you or blaming you or saying that you're doing anything wrong. And from what you told me, I will interject and say, that would be a normal response to the circumstances that you describe. But they say anywhere where you can just relax a little bit. Another way of saying it is when it comes to manifestation, right? We have to sometimes understand that wherever we find ourselves, we'll have a certain amount of momentum, right? And it's not your fault. You're not doing anything wrong. Like lots of times crazy things, attract into our space for all sorts of reasons. And I always just, I just had a one recently. And, what I, do after I'm done having the temper tantrum is you have to kind of just, understand and ride the wave. Okay. And so for you, they say you need a lot more rest. You need a lot more grace. And though your long range goals are absolutely and completely attainable, and they may even arrive sooner than you think, that was quote unquote from your guides. What they want you to recognize and focusing on right now is coming up to breathe, coming up for air, relaxing into yourself, like learning to shift the vibration by noticing what's going well, by not trying to overcome circumstances so much, although that will probably be the end goal of what you want to achieve. But they say that way of focusing on things is akin to, just you keep hitting the gas when you're in a period of time when it's just going to stall the car. It's not going to get you anywhere. So what they're saying very, very practically, my friend, is that focus on the moments of relief. Focus on the things that do work. Focus on the people that do show up through you. Focus on the fur baby that you maybe already have that licks your feet, right? Focus on how the weather today is nicer than yesterday. Focus on the fact that you do have a roof over your head. And again, this isn't like gratitude, like, well, you should be grateful, it could be worse kind of gratitude. That's not what I mean at all. It's around tuning into where things are flowing and giving yourself a little more space to just be with what is, just be with it is, be with the frustration, allow it. Don't blame yourself for what's going on, be gentle, and then see where you can shift to just, enjoy things a little bit more. Just enjoy your life a little bit more. Because a lot of times when we're stressed and what we feel like we have to do is run through the fire. And my guides give me this example all the time, because the first thing, that we were all taught, I don't know if everyone was taught, but I was randomly taught this, is that if you're on fire, you don't run, you stop, drop, and roll. Right. But it's a natural human tendency to want to run through it. But when you're in that state, right, and you're running, you're fanning the flames. Okay. So they want you to know that everything that you desire is absolutely doable, but from the energy that you're at right now, it's not the time to hit the gas on that. It's just not the time to hit the gas on that. It's the time to just be calm, to take care of yourself, to understand that a lot's activated. And, if you hit the gas now and really, you may create more of the same. It doesn't mean you don't do anything. It just means slow down, take your time, look for the opportunities as they arise. And really, they say this is the most important thing. Take time to soothe and nurture and support yourself, and bring more things in your life that are easy, that are simple, that make you feel good. Okay. And one thing they say is it feels that either creating or appreciating art and visual things and music too is really, really, really important to you. And not from an ambitious standpoint, even if you have some ambitions there, but more just from a soothing standpoint that's very softening for you and helpful for you. So to really bring more of that into your life right now. And then as things you will grab your attention, you have to do, go, go, go. They also want to remind you, you can breathe. You can relax, and that things, even though you've had some challenges recently, things have been flowing quite nicely in response to those. Things have been moving and getting done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And focus on that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Right. Ooh, I'll give you a personal example. Ooh, I had a 10-hour airport delay. But hey, I got into my very own bed and I got to sleep in my bed, and I got to sleep in a bed a couple hours, right? Or, ooh, look, there was coconut water in this random little airport fridge. And that was like the one thing I wanted for the full moon. And even though I was stuck in this weird, bizarre airport in the middle of nowhere, Colorado, I got coconut water and a salad I could eat, right? So, which is I'm very hard to feed, right? So again, it doesn't minimize your frustration and, in the sense of overwhelm, because you have a lot of overwhelm too right now. It's just, when you feel that way, what you want to do is soothe yourself and find ways to just feel a little bit better. And they also want you to honor yourself, because you have had a number of challenges. And I know you're just very frustrated because they're so overwhelming. And they're not telling me that it's going to have to continue this way by any means, but they want you to give yourself kudos for how well you've done, and to make sure it's like, so, another example is like, if you've had to go a bunch of days without eating because you're running around, on the day when you can finally eat a meal, make sure you treat yourself to something really good.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? And that's how you'll get yourself back on track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope that one landed. Sending you a ton of love. I see your guides around you right now, like a bunch of just beautiful, beautiful, like they feel angelic in nature, because they're all like fluttery, and they just want you to feel their warmth and feel their energy. And they're giving you just like a beautiful full on body, like tickle, massage, love. And they just want you to know that they're here with you. And they'd also invite you, if that image speaks with you, to allow them to travel around your new home with them, and allow them to help you set the energy in your new space the way that you'd like it to be for your time there.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I'm sending you a ton of love.
Yeah. Thank you, Victoria.
You're
Bless
welcome.
you.
Okay, same. All right.
Thank you, Amriita. Thanks for being with
you.
us. Next, we have Greg. Greg, if
Okay.
you'd like to join us. And
Hello.
Hello, how are
Thanks
you?
for joining us.
Good. How are you?
Good. What would you like
I'm
guidance on today, Greg?
maybe just like a general guide check-in. Maybe focusing on relationships, whether they're with my partner or friends.
Tune into your energy a little bit. Greg, can you just put your last name in the chat? You don't have to share it with everybody, but I would just like to see it so I can just tune into your
Yeah.
energy a little bit for your question.
Dwyer.
Okay, cool. Huh. Wow, you have a very interesting energy and a very interesting it's very cool. You have a very interesting way of viewing things in the world. It's very fun.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, let me figure out which one of those questions. With your partner, it feels that, you guys are in an interesting rhythm whereby, if I'm reading this correctly, and I may not be, but there are times when you're harmonious, but then there's also times like sometimes one of you is kind of like in the snit, or one of you is really like in the relationship. And then the other time it's like another one of you. So I think that sometimes it's hard for you guys to get in sync and like kind of want the same things at the same time. Does that make sense?
There's right, like all relationships, right? Trying to get on the exact frequency, but we have similar goals, but there have been times where I see I'm having like a really good day, and then she's having the opposite, like a really bad day. It's like trying to get on that same level.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's a beautiful example. And I think that's what they're getting at, because that's for sure. And her energy too, if I'm reading her correctly, she may be one of those people that misunderstands love for matching a vibration.
Hmm.
And so that's never called for. Matching a vibration is never called for in a relationship. And the best relationships work when you're, in the same general range of frequency, like aggregately overall, not in any moment. But sometimes we have this idea that if I'm sad and someone else is happy, they should be sad with me. And I don't know if she would articulate that. But there is this feeling that that caring means that you have to be where I'm at and you have to sit with my feelings. And I think that that's a little bit, I don't agree with that, but I also think it could be potentially a little overwhelming for you. Then I think there's other times too, if I'm reading you correctly, where you give a lot of time and attention to her. And then there's other times when you want to share something with her and, she's not available. Right. So I wonder if sometimes too, the demand is a little bit unidirectional where, she requires a lot of attention is what I'm wondering. Again, I'm reading it through you. If she was my client, I might see her perspective, which is probably also her very own thing. But I want to get from the guides, like what they have to say about this. And what they're saying is there's just sometimes a little mismatch in your expectations and understanding of how a relationship works. And I can see that you're a really caring soul, so that, in relationships, you really want to be a sensitive, kind, supportive person. You want to be there for her, but there are times when it's very frustrating for you because you feel, and again, stop me if it doesn't land, but you feel in your call to be there for her and give her what she, requests and what she says that she needs. Sometimes you feel a little bit frustrated and unseen, meaning sometimes it feels like she's setting the vibratory tone of the relationship and that you're expected to meet her there. Does that make sense?
Yes, that Aries.
Yeah. And I think at times you're happy to do it. And then at other times I feel some clashes because you're like, no, I want to go this way right now. I want to be happy right now. Like, and also I think I want to be celebrated if I'm having a good day. I don't always want to have to put, hold myself back because I'm having a good day, but you're not. Okay. I'm going to tune into her perspective for a minute too, if that's okay.
Yeah,
she's not here to defend herself, but there is something that I think that you don't see from her perspective. And, when I look at her perspective, she more than you tend to get grouchy, I think, is your way of coping with things. Like you'll be easygoing and then suddenly you're not. And that, is very like hard for her. On the other hand, for her, she comes from a long history of just not feeling loved, not feeling heard, not feeling seen. And so I think that the best way to help her when you guys get into these impasses is being like, honey, I see you. I'm really sorry you're having a bad day. I really love you. Um, I'm really here for you. Let me know what you need from me. Right. And then also letting her know your need to be able to be where you're at. And that, you can also articulate something like, I also would love for you to be excited for me because we're a team and we're in this together. And, if things are going well for one of us, they should be going well for both of us.
Yeah, I like that. Kind of having my own energetic sovereignty, but in like
Yeah.
relationship with hers, like in space for each other.
Yeah. And there are times too, and I know this from my own experience, both personally and also, working with many, 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 many other people in the work that I do. But if you have within you a place that doesn't feel lovable or doesn't feel loved or doesn't feel heard or doesn't feel seen or doesn't feel satisfied or doesn't, in her case, I think oftentimes the most emotionally supported.
Mhm.
Okay. It can be very hard for you to receive said support when it comes, right? Because if you're constantly saying, I don't feel supported, I don't feel supported, I don't feel supported, it can make it very hard for someone to support you. Okay. And I feel that sometimes she's like that. So the way to get around that is to, say, I'm really sorry you're feeling this way. Step out of her energy. You don't have to feel what she's feeling. And then ask her concretely, let me know what I can do to help. You can make 3 suggestions. Do you need a hug? Do you need a foot massage? You want me to make you dinner? Do you want me to set a timer and listen to you complain for 5 minutes? I'd say more than that is too much for anyone. You know what I mean? Because this is going to help her become more empowered. Okay. And
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes she doesn't need words. She just needs to be held. She just needs to be held.
Mhm.
And you know what I mean? The words kind of make it worse because nobody says what she wants to hear or what she needs to hear. Like it's not going to satisfy her.
Yeah, it doesn't need a solution, just needs a presence.
Exactly. But I would start to like ask her what she needs. And then also in like a not super heated moment to also say, like I want us to be able to celebrate each other. Like sometimes, I want to know that you can be excited about me and my stuff because a win for me is a win for us.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Anything else before we wrap that one up?
Yeah, is there any other kind of general message from the guys? I've been trying to get more intuitive on like how to commune or receive information from my guides a little more fluidly.
They say that you can be very hard on yourself
Mm.
and sometimes also hard on them. You kind of go between getting frustrated with yourself and then getting frustrated with like, everybody else. That's like kind of your pattern, but it starts if you're a little bit softer with yourself and a little more loving to yourself and you let yourself be where you're at and you let yourself be with your frustration, that will make it easier for them to get in. You hear them just fine. You don't hear them all the time. And there are times too, because you're very strong-willed and opinionated. So there are times when you just on certain topics, but like there are times when they say something and you hear them and you're like, nah, it's not that, but they
Yeah.
say that happens to all human beings. But they really say that, don't be so hard on yourself. The more that you can be kind, gentle, and loving with yourself, you'll be less frustrated with others. And you'll be able to hear them more because it's from that place. I want to get this right from them, but they say it's from that place of inner softness that you can really hear yourself freely. And, and that's how you can hear us too.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
Hope that came through. Thank you, my friend. Have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you, Greg. All right. We have Julian.
Okay.
Are you ready to join on camera and microphone?
Yep.
Hi there.
And thanks.
Hi there.
All right, I'm going to take a breath and let go of Greg. Julian, what would you like guidance on today?
I've been immersed in creativity the past year and a half. I left my job in corporate 2 years ago and have been like this deep dive of half creativity, half entrepreneurship. And yeah, just want to see either side or both sides, what you guys see.
So I love your question, and I just love what your guys did, because before you started answering your question and I tuned into your energy, you have a very forceful energy. So I feel that you're the kind of person that when you focus on something, you put a lot of energy behind it. Okay. You're not like yeah, maybe walk in the park kind of dude. But the image that they were giving me, okay, it was very strong and very clear, is that of a figure eight or an infinity symbol. It was going like this right in front of your third eye. And so I wonder if the answer to the crux of your question, do I do this or that, is that they're kind of related and that they're kind of flowing. Okay. They also say that it's very important for you to organize your energy, because you have a lot of energy and you do have a very strong power of focus, such that when you focus on something, it happens fast. But you also have the tendency, they say, to scatter your energy. And you know this.
Yes.
And when you scatter your energy, it feels like this manifests and that manifests, but like nothing kind of comes together.
Mhm.
Right. And so it's not that you have to have everything figured out. It's just that you have to be more choiceful in where you focus your energy. And probably, first of all, you've loved the creative process. And so when you do the creative process, then they say you go to town, follow it, have fun, throw the paint everywhere, whatever you're doing. I don't think it's paint, but do you know what I mean? Really allow yourself to do that. That's fine. Okay. But when you are then trying to say, and they say, if you simply followed that, you'd have a heck of a great time. You just don't trust yourself at this point to the business side of it, right?
100%.
And because you have that distrust, those two things aren't playing nicely together. So it's almost like you go in and you throw yourself in and you have this great time, and then you chastise yourself, or the word that they used was not as nice as that, but I don't want to say the other word. I'm going to say it because it's very clear. They say it's kind of like castrate yourself. Like it's just, like you shut it down in a really hard way, because you don't think you should be doing that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel like the intensity of the word is pretty intense. I feel like my life is not that intense, but I think the effect of that intensity might play into the more practical side of what I'm experiencing, which is the very elongated version of what I imagined 2 years ago life would be like.
Yeah.
However, I'm also very go with the flow, and I've designed my life very meticulously to allow myself that time now. And so I am definitely looking to figure out how to merge that infinity into, I wouldn't say a straight line, but have that pendulum stop swinging so dramatically.
It's not. It's going like this.
Oh, okay.
And it's weaving everything together. It's not. And at the point in between, that's when stuff is getting done. So they want you to follow the creative effort, follow the joy, but keep it just a little bit more. Think like this. And it's not about trying to figure it out either. The opportunities are there. They appear. The ideas come. Again, you may have wanted to get from 0 to 1,000,000 miles an hour in 35 seconds, but here on earth, things don't work that way. And they say you've accomplished quite a bit, but you have a lot of conditioning, I believe, and you tell me if I'm wrong. So a lot of things that you've learned, and most of us have learned this to some extent, that you can't trust your own inclinations. Okay.
I would
And
say go ahead.
you go ahead. You've lived in your life. Yeah.
I would say the trust in my inclinations is actually the strongest thing I have, the trust in my intuition. The hardest part is the scattered energy that you're referring to, which is when I do focus on one thing, I go very quickly at it. But it's identifying direction in which to place that scattered energy.
But see, your energy is scattering because you're trying to figure out what to do. So you don't feel like you don't fully trust in the flow and the excitement. Like when I see you're doing something creative or fun, like boom, 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 you get into it, you bang it out. It's beautiful.
Yep.
And then after you step back and you're like, but that's not anything, or that's not nothing, or what am I going to do with this next? And that's where the kind of critical kind of condition, like, no one can accomplish anything having this much fun kind of voice comes in. Okay. And it's early criticism. A lot of us have like, the world, school teaches everyone to go work in an office, or a factory or, and many of us aren't wired that way. And the guys are like, that's even too specific an example. They're just like, earth world doesn't train you how to live on earth effectively. Okay.
Yeah.
And especially for those of us who are really creative, really intuitive, really powerful beings. So it's about allowing yourself more and more to be who you are. But the place where your energy scatters, my friend, is when you start to figure things out and try to make things happen. Okay. Because then you're going here and you're going there and you get these different harebrained ideas, but the harebrained ideas come from insecurity. They don't come from excitement. Okay. Someone needs to turn off their mic. That's not Julian, please. Okay. So just if you trust to do the things that are fun and you trust your fun and you trust your flow, and then you look for the opportunities and rest a little bit too. Right. And I think that that's what's going to weave things together. Okay. It's not about figuring out how to make it happen. It's about kind of finding the fun, finding the flow, and finding an even deeper level of trust where you start to know that when I start to follow, right, even more and more without questioning myself, without letting other people's questions get in there, it's going to start to flow for you. Okay. And I'm going to say something to you. I don't think it's going to be necessary, but I'm going to say it to you because the guides prompt me. And I say this to a lot of people. Sometimes when we're pursuing a dream, we have an idea that all of the money has to come from the dream. And it has to come from the dream now. And they always give me the example. If you stumbled over a treasure chest with $10 million in it, would you really care if you then went to work as an artist and never sold another piece of art or whatever it is? So just trust in your own infinite nature. I think you will make money from the creative thing that you're doing because it's just what you want to do. And you just have that kind of pattern that like you have these great inspirations and these great creations. And I think sometimes you don't trust them enough. So they go poof rather than just like getting really excited. Okay, this is done. Okay, this is done. Okay, this is done. And then, let that go. And one of them is, or two of them or three of them are going to like be the ones that are going to like stick. And then you'll be on the next track. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think you touched upon something very relative, which was the deconditioning, like unconditioning. And so I guess the two sides of it is that I'm financially taken care of because of my life in corporate.
Okay, good.
So the creative side is actually all fun. And I'm trying to navigate the unconditioning of the Western culture, which is I have to be doing something that makes
Amen.
money.
Amen.
And so I think that's where it's mixing in, because ultimately I don't have to do anything right now other than things I want to do.
Yeah.
And I want to be creative, but I also know the value of making money because I'm living a life from doing so. And so there's this part in my brain that says I need to build a business, or what else am I doing?
Right. And you don't want to build a business that way from that energy.
Not from that energy. Exactly. And so that's where I'm like, again, when I say I have this elongation of time, I really do have all the time in the world. And so it's trying to be creative and have fun, but also plant the seeds and make the decisions in the direction of the foundation of business building being a strong, meaningful, proper foundation.
Yeah. You're being asked to do things in a different way than you've done them before.
Yeah.
Okay. And they say you have a choice. If you want to build a business from the old way of building a business, take one of your creations, one of your things, and build a business with it. You'll do fine. You'll do fine. You have a very good business mind. You could do that in a heartbeat.
Mm.
The problem is, I think, my friend, you want to do bigger things. And in order to do bigger things, you have to experience a level of freedom that you have not yet allowed yourself to have.
Mm.
So if you are truly able to not worry about money for a while, and you are truly able to say, even if this is a hiatus where I go and I explore creativity and I don't worry about anything else except for just creating and seeing how far I can take this, you will be far better off in the long run. And you will quite likely create something that will will satisfy your desire for some sort of accolades, and probably financial as well. But remember, there's lots of different ways to be of service, right? And in the old days, a lot of artists, and scientists, they were just super rich people that had lots of time to sit around and be philosophers, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the spiritual teachers, they were just really rich. So the Renaissance men, right? So
Yeah.
what they want you to do is just recognize too that right now you're pulling those things apart. But if you would allow yourself to play a little bit more, I think it'll start to flow together more nicely. Okay. So I hope that makes
Beautiful.
sense. Yeah.
Very.
Thank you. That was a beautiful question. I'm sure a
Thank
lot
you.
of people will benefit from that. And people listening too, always remember that you're going to hear little aspects of yourself in a lot of these people's questions and stories. And you want to take the ones that resonate, the ones that you're like, I needed to hear that. None of this is prescriptive, meaning Julian's story is one way. Someone else, the guides may say something completely different, like, put down the paintbrush and get a job or whatever. They probably wouldn't say that, but right. We're all really, really unique. But if you hear something in someone else's story that makes you go, and about probably some of you even on the call tonight are hearing things in each other's readings, because it always works that way. Those are the bits for you. Okay. Those are the bits for you too, because there's always perfect synchronicity, and we always receive the messages that we need to hear when we need to hear them. Are there any more people, Allison, or are we winding it down?
There,
Okay.
we do have.
Okay.
Sharon arrived. So Sharon, if you
Okay. Thank you, Julian.
thank you, Julian.
All right.
There we
Here.
go.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. What would you like guidance on today?
Well, thank you for doing this, first of all. So similar to Julian, similar yet different, same and different. I've been in a career for 33 years that I absolutely love. And I know that it's my work, my great work. And I have a few projects that spawn off that are in incubation mode. However, because I'll be 59 this year, and my work is very physically demanding on my body and my hands, because I do body work, massage for many, many years. I am looking for something to be able to utilize the skill set that I've ascertained over those 3 decades or more in holistic health and in massage and in many other subjects, in a way where I can work remotely, in a way where I don't have to only get paid when I'm in a room with somebody, in a way where I can travel more and go to see my son where he is, and still be a major contribution to some company or some business or other people, because I know I'm on the planet to do great things. I have a lot to offer.
You said a lot in there, Sharon. And the first thing I would say is this: that call to serve, that desire to be of service to others, which is a great thing. And, I think is all of the ways in which we show up in the world, and the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves, in the way that, like wanting to serve others is like, it's pretty cool. Like it's awesome. And sometimes what can happen is, just like Julian was talking a little bit about being successful in business, he's been taught that you're not worthwhile if you're not doing something business wise, right? Sometimes a lot of women feel like, or a lot of people feel like in general, like, wow, I'm not worthwhile if I'm not serving other people. And when we do it from that identity sense, like my identity is being of service, it will bring your vibration down a little bit. It will bring your vibration down a little bit, because you're not doing it just from a place of pure unconditional love of doing it anymore. You're doing it from a place of, I have to do this in order to be valuable or worthy or enough, or, it's my purpose in a way that gives me a sense of identity rather than a sense of joy. Okay. And I hear that. I know you don't think so, but I hear that a little bit in what you're saying in your energy, and you guys want to talk a little bit more, but then I promise to let you reflect and come in. Okay. Because I don't want to talk over you. And so what they want you to know is that, you have a desire to continue doing the work that you do because, there's aspects of it that you really love. You love interacting with people, if I'm reading you correctly. You love, again, you enjoy those interactions. You love knowing that you're making a difference, and there's nothing wrong with any of this. Okay. That's beautiful. But what they'd also like you to know is it should not be a battle, or there's no should, but there's not need to be a battle between feeling into what brings you joy, okay, and serving yourself and doing what's fun for you and being of service to others, okay? And ultimately, the balance should be taking care of yourself more than you take care of others. I know that's really weird to hear because we believe that's somehow selfish, but when we are really aligned with ourselves and we're really into our flow and we're really able to receive and enjoy and experience unconditional love for ourselves and care for ourselves, it actually increases our bandwidth to be of value to others. And on top of that, my guides tell me again and again and again and again, one of the greatest gifts that you could offer to the planet, especially at this time, is your joy, your true joy, right? And true joy is not scarcity based. It's not aggressive, or, you don't take true joy in punching someone else in the face. You take true joy in just like living your soul's expression and seeing life as a beautiful playground that it is. And that's what you want to experience more, correct? You just want more fun.
I want more fun. I agree with everything you're saying. And I don't think I have the call to serve thing because I have to. It's just, if I'm going to do anything and spend any of my energy and time doing anything, it has to, like you did say, it has to make a difference. It has to be worthwhile. It has
to who? So that's what your guides want to say. I'm going to give you an example, okay? Because I shared this the other day. I have a brilliant friend who's an energy worker, and she uses all sorts of different energy tools to teach. And she's writing a book, and I've been helping her with the book. And so she wanted to add this tool to the book, and so she wanted me to read it, right? And it's a really cool tool, and you can try this one too because it's really quite beautiful, right? And it's about measuring the energy of your heart chakra. Okay. And the heart chakra, do you know what the chakras are? You've heard it? Okay. Yeah. I didn't hear your response. Okay. Probably you can
I do know what the chakras are.
Okay. Perfect. I figured you do, right? Okay. So if you've worked with the chakras too, then you know that, the front of your heart chakras is the giving part. And the back of the heart chakra is the receiving part, right? And for many people, these two pieces, they should be pretty much in balance, but sometimes they're not in balance. And many of the people that find their way to me are the overgivers, right? So the front of their heart chakra is like this, and the back of the heart chakra is like that. So you can try this too. So I'm going to do my best to recreate the way she did it, but she's like, you rub your hands together, you start to feel the energy build between your hands, right? Then you put your hands on your heart for just a minute above your heart. And then you ask to be shown with your hands, how wide is the front of your heart chakra? Okay. Right. And then ask to be shown, where's the back of your heart chakra? Okay. And so what did you find there?
I've done this work before too. And I have a very big aura, and I'm not saying that to be conceited or anything, but it goes pretty far. So I heard it's beyond my arms. So I don't even know how to measure it.
Okay. So when I get a slightly different reading when I turn into your energy, but it's all
Okay.
good. But the
What
point,
did, what did you see?
it's not important. But the point of the energy, relax. But the point of it is, right? So I'm going to just tell you my story. Okay. So when I did it for myself, right, what I recognize is the back of my heart chakra is bigger. I receive more than I give. And I'm like, oh my God, because I'm like a teacher and I want to be of service. And I stopped and my guide said, no, sweetie. They say it's because you are so open to receive that you have so much to give.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yeah.
that's what I want to say.
Beautiful.
Okay. And I want to say something else that in some ways is even more important. That giving, right? Does not have to be any compromise to yourself or any, I do pretty much what's fun. If it's not fun, I pretty much don't do it. There are sometimes when someone's booked an appointment with me and, like maybe I would rather be at the beach and I'm like, damn, but for the most part, once I get on the call, I know I can go to the beach another time. Right. And that probably happens about 1 in a million, 1 in a million for me. Right. Because I make my joy and my enjoyment a priority. And I know that the greatest gift that I give to planet Earth is just that, is me doing me, enjoying my life, following my joy and flowing with what excites me. And so that's where I feel that you would be most fruitful for you to go. Now, there's a practical question in there that we're going to get to. Okay. And so they say, if you never treated another client, but you were enjoying yourself, that would be a higher active service for you. Okay.
Beautiful.
All right. Thank you. I mean, thank them, but I'm glad it was received. Okay. Now, the other thing that they want to say is that you actually do enjoy what you do. So you love being a teacher. You love being a helper. It's really fun for you. Okay. So, and you haven't talked about money, but I feel like money is a concern for you. And that could be a whole nother conversation. So I think that that's like another piece that hasn't come up, but taking that off the table completely, what they say is start to make a list of ways and things that you could do that are adjacent to what you do now that would be fun for you. Okay. I get teaching, I get doing different kinds of energy work and expanding that thing. Maybe writing would be really cool. Those are, making workbooks or things like that. Those are the kind of things that I feel that you'll want to do next. I also feel teaching is really something that you'd really like to do. So maybe, teaching other people to do this or sharing the things that you've learned over time, or exploring new energy modalities, or perhaps, even sharing based on what you've learned, the way that my friend wrote her book, right? These feel like where you want to go next. The other thing they're saying, and this is very specific and definitely not coming out of my mind, but they say too, if you're looking for a somewhat nomadic lifestyle or, moving around, that there probably are opportunities to go places and offer massage in different locations to a lesser degree. Okay. Like, I know there are apps, so that would be one easy way to do it. Just as like a side gig. But I know you like to have your regular people, but I also see that you may be able to do residencies at different places. Okay. And that might be really fun for you. Or, if you're in town somewhere for a certain amount of time, you can go to a spa and say, do you need subs or whatever? Like, so they just want to open you up to this idea that there could be opportunities to do a limited number of massages in different spots. I don't know how that works license wise, but anyway, that's what I get. So I don't know if that's practically true or not, but they're saying that that would be an option too. And it would be kind of fun for you. And that they say you're also like, you're a perpetual student. You always like learning more and being in that kind of environment. So continuing to learn new things and teach will be really, really fun. And the biggest takeaway, they say, is to recognize that the greatest gift you give to the planet at this time is following your own joy and excitement. And everything else will fall into place. And you're not someone, like, you're probably still going to want to like do stuff with other people too, because that's part of your fun and excitement. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, there's a lot of truth in all of that. Yes. One of my projects is teaching. So you're right. I just have to create my curriculum and market it. one of my next weekend, I'm studying a form of energy work that I've studied before, but I'm studying it again because it's been like 20 some odd years and I need to do a refresher. I need CEUs and it's local. It's like finally being where I am. So that's wonderful. Yeah. So that's exciting. Writing, well, I have to write in order to create my curriculum. So that makes sense. And that there would be workbooks. So that all makes sense. The residencies, I'm very much a brainstormer and I'm very resourceful. So I've been playing with this a lot for a while because money currently isn't an issue. Yet
Good.
if I don't work, no one else is supporting me. And the only way I get paid is what I'm doing. So that's why I need to find something else that will handsomely reward me in work that I'm doing to contribute to something wonderful, where I could or don't have to do massage in addition to that, but I will still continue to do it because it's who I am and it's what I am and I love it. Yet I want something else to support me fully where I can play in the other time, and everything has to bring me joy. Otherwise I can't do it. So I agree with you.
Yeah. And the last thing they say monetarily is I see you just doing fewer massages. I don't see you not doing massage. So I feel like you're going to do different things. But the other thing that they're suggesting too in the very near future, if not yesterday, is to raise your rates a little bit.
I did that like a few months ago.
Good. Because as you start to do that, and you may do it again. It will, and I think you may start to just, the other offerings will trickle in and fill in the gaps. But as you raise your rates, it gives you more time for other things and you make more money doing less work.
What's fascinating, really quickly, what's fascinating is this past year, one of my main sources of income stopped because they're renovating and redoing the place I worked. So my private client base started coming in again, and that automatically raised my rates because I'm making more privately than I do when I work anywhere else.
Right.
And at one of the places I work, I'm going to raise my rates. And the thing with the residencies, yes, I've thought of that. And that sounds amazing. It's just that I don't really want to be a nomad. That's not me right now. No. But, and I just took a new lease on a place. However, I'd love to do residencies at different places. I think that sounds
We don't have to be a nomad. You could just,
no.
You could just travel.
Right.
And work, when you travel. That's
exactly. So you definitely got a good idea of who I am, and I appreciate all your insight. And I'm just, I'm such a curious being. I love learning. I love helping, and I love being involved in like cutting edge technologies and cool things. So I'm open. There's so many things that can fall into that category that I think I have skill set for, but then when I go and look on Indeed or something and I just read job descriptions, I'm like, I don't have any of that. However, something will show up that's perfect. So
yeah, I feel like you're going to want to continue along the lines of what you're doing. You're just going to want to do it a little less and bring in some different things. But but good luck, and it seems like you're definitely on the right track.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. I appreciate you as well. All right. Is that everyone?
That is everyone.
Yay. All right. I just want to do some quick closing words and thank everybody today for tuning in, and to see if the guides have anything else to say to anyone, anything else to say to you guys or the audience in general. And what they say is, like, one of the things that you guys may have noticed today, and this happens a lot when we're hearing our guides ourselves, myself included, by the way. It's much easier oftentimes when you're a psychic or an intuitive or a channeler to do it for someone else than it is to do it for yourself. Though I hear my guides quite readily in my own life as well, thank goodness. But sometimes when, we have what they're saying it's really important that when you're receiving a reading or hearing your guides or anything like that, to create a little bit of space, right, between what the words are, what's said, what those preconceived notions are, what like kind of pops up, and actually what's coming through. Because they said in many of the readings today, for some of people, there was initial like, no, that's not it, right? But then as we got into it and people got quiet, right, that communication started where you can say like, oh, okay, yeah, now it makes sense. There isn't a forcing or a pushing. And of course, I always say if something doesn't land, even if it came out of these lips, let it go, because you are your own authority and you have your very own truth. And an intuitive reading or talking to a doctor or a spiritual book or anything that you read in the world should awaken a deeper knowing in you. And so if it doesn't fit, let it go. But sometimes when we receive our guidance, we need that moment of being present, that moment of listening deeper, that moment of letting our mind go soft so that we can really, truly just tune in and receive whatever wants to be received. Okay. And we can do that when we're receiving guidance, like you're all doing today. But we can also do that, make a habit of doing that in our own minds, where we ask our guides or we ask our intuition, right, for guidance or direction. And then sometimes we fill in the gaps really quickly by wanting to answer ourselves, right? Or the first thing comes, we judge it and we're like, no, it can't be that. And so if you find that kind of knee jerk, sit with yourself, soothe yourself, and then listen a little more deeply, right? Ask for clarification. And in order to know in that intuitive sense, right, we always have to have that beginner's mind. We always have to be comfortable with that little bit of not knowing, right? Because that's where the true wisdom comes through. All right. So those are my closing words for today. Allison, is there anything else you want to share?
I just wanted to say in this last moment, what you just shared about listening to yourself, we give so much effort listening to each other, and then we forget to listen to ourselves.
Yeah. And even
That's so
intuitive
important.
reading is all about listening to you. I'm just the one talking a lot, but it's your guidance. Yeah. And we can do it internally too. You don't always need, sometimes it's nice to have someone else, only because when we get into these mental ruts, it's harder for us to hear our guides because our brain is just talking over them.
So good. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I wanted to share with everyone that next week we will be moving 1 hour ahead to 6 o'clock. So 6 to 7-ish. And the tickets will be available at that hour from this point forward. So we'll see you next week at 6 p.m. Pacific. Thanks for joining us. And thank you so much, Victoria.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Welcome to Ask Your Spirit Guides with Dr. Victoria Shaw, your weekly gateway to divine guidance and soul alignment. Each week, intuitive counselor and spiritual teacher Dr. Victoria Shaw connects with spirit to bring through live channeled messages from your personal guides, offering clarity, healing, and support on your journey. Whether you receive a personal reading or simply tune in, know that every episode delivers a powerful energetic transmission meant just for you. We're live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific on Soul Search TV, streaming online on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our mobile app. Take a deep breath, open your heart, and prepare to receive. This is Ask Your Spirit Guides, and your journey starts now.